You might not know this, but the world is teeming with life. What goes on in the body? There's something special about
growing, and
this particular
the mind has endless capabilities.
There's a lot of
Heavy metals interrupt
their DNA.
ATP synthase.
ATP. Okay, there's
Just
the cell
imagine
wall.
the smallest. We can learn so much about our ancestors. Reading,
And I think we're moving more and
it's a
more.
new type
towards
of entire body.
more of this. What are they teaching?
Bunch
here?
of systems.
There are
DNA
worlds that we haven't even
DNA polymerase
seen
3.
yet. Why does
All in a drop of water.
doctors know
The
a lot?
universities are
There's
crying.
more in our bodies that we don't know about than we do.
Welcome back to Beyond Being Well. I'm actually Cy Zazinski.
And I'm Dr. Ryan Keegan, not a doctor though. Make sure I make that clear. Every episode.
I actually want to start today with a new announcement because it keeps getting cut off, if I tag it at the end. So I'm going to actually start today with something really exciting that's happening with my tea business. There is a new installment kind of.
Wait. Cy?
What?
Maybe we can do that next episode. That's a great idea. The beginning of next episode would be perfect for it. But I just have a really huge piece of news, health related, that happened to me, and I just thought I need to get it out immediately.
Okay. What is it?
So I have Lyme disease. I may have Lyme disease, and I have Lyme disease.
What?
I may have Lyme disease.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
Lyme disease. I took two tests.
Lyme's.
Yeah, Lyme disease. I took two tests. One came back positive and one came back negative. So I have Lyme and I may have Lyme. And I believe I got it from the mice in Africa.
I have heard that they can contribute to carrying ticks.
Yeah, it can spread through animals very easily.
So I'm sure you're taking all precautions and kind of making sure.
Yes. It's an autoimmune suppressing disease. So I'm doing every precaution.
Okay. Well, that was worth you saying. That's unfortunate that you have these based on
also
a retreat that was supposed to be fun.
But also it's kind of fortunate because I just get to explore more about my own health.
That's true.
All right, I got that off my chest. So let's go forward. Maggie,
Yes.
you want to introduce yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you, fellow knowledge seekers, for having me on your incredible show. I've been listening religiously, sometimes multiple times. I'll listen to one episode and then I'll just go again for round two. And I just feel like I'm absorbing so much from how much you guys know about things.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
That is great to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're very excited to have you on.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I just want to begin by, promoting and plugging my new book.
Of course.
It just came out. I'm very excited about it. It's actually part of a series. This one, the new one, is entitled Sleep With Me.
That's a great title.
It is an in-depth examination of just, my nightly rituals and the outcomes of those rituals and how they affect us all, really, at the end of the day.
That's a lot to unpack there.
There's a whole lot to unpack there.
So maybe we can begin with what you do for a living, and you're a professor, is that right?
I am a professor.
At a university, right?
That's correct. I teach sleep therapy, dream analysis and interpretation, and then also night drawing, which is...
That sounds fascinating.
It is fascinating. It's been a fascinating process for me. So what it is we'll have, drawing session, be it figure drawing, be it just out of your imagination, merely seconds before you would be asleep. So it's a very late class,
So how do you draw and while you're falling asleep?
Well, I encourage. It's actually based off of a technique that Frida Kahlo used. We basically create these structures that are at an angle above you while you're laying down, and we provide, cots and pillows and blankets. We want our students to be as comfortable as possible during this process. And we'll drink chamomile tea together, we'll play some soothing tunes, and we'll just let the mind really wander on the canvas, if you will. And what these kids are putting out is it's truly profound. And
so it's a sleeping mind that's drawing?
Well, it's a little bit of both. So we'll start off with that.
It's kind of between consciousness.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So it's sort of an exploratory process that these students are going on.
Yes.
I'd love to try that.
And it often gets to a point where you don't even know if you're asleep or not. And some students they will fall asleep. Their eyes will be closed. They'll be breathing very rhythmically.
And they'll be drawing?
They will be drawing.
Unbelievable.
And when they awaken, the things they make are...
No, it's almost like there's an artist inside them that they don't even recognize it, and they wake up and they have masterpieces. Yeah,
so listeners, if you haven't caught on by now, the topic for today is sleep.
And we've been saying this for actually episodes upon episodes, that sleep is key.
It's 1/3 of your life.
And Maggie knows this better than anyone on the planet.
Yeah, Maggie's an expert in sleep. You already heard some of her exploits at university. I'm not really a fan of university, but in this case, I think what she's doing is...
Thank you.
Amazing.
I do appreciate that. No, I'm always saying it. And it's actually another title of a book that I put out, and it's Sleep. You have to do it.
You have to. And that's kind of its own book in itself, the title.
Well, it is a book.
Yeah, but the title itself is almost giving you a little bit of a mini lesson.
Well, I think that's what titles do. So, let's really get down to the bone marrow of this topic. Let's just define.
If someone had to put you in a corner and they were like, what is the one thing that you would say? What would you say is the most important thing in terms of sleep? I'm thinking, like, what if you had to break it down? They put you in the corner and they point at you and they say that. What would your response be?
Well, I think I would begin by kind of breaking down the walls of just this backwards, idea that sleeping is laziness. And I would explain to this person that, sleeping is the most productive part of my day. I once slept for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And when I woke up, 3 weeks, that is correct, 3 weeks. And this was actually while I was camping. And when I woke up, I had learned several new languages. Just brand new, entire
so
languages.
Never been spoken.
Never been spoken.
What do they sound like?
Well, they're mostly written, and they can't actually be spoken out loud. We don't have the sounds for that. If you read Sleep With Me, there's actually an entire chapter about these languages and how they've impacted my life and my practices and my teaching even.
Is there a term for like when someone sleeps and these languages come to them, is there a term for that conception within the mind?
In the industry, we call that grasp.
Grasp? Grasp?
Correct.
Like grabbing.
Yeah, it's like
you're
reaching out to that other plane that we'll find ourselves in, and we'll grasp it back to our plane.
So this can happen with many other things, not just languages.
And see, this is a similar concept to my drawing class, when people will grasp these ideas while they're not even conscious.
Oh, that's grasping.
And that actually reminds me, it's sort of what stroke patients will kind of endure, is they'll wake up with some sort of new skill.
Exactly.
And is stroke sort of sleeping?
Well, in a way. Here's a way to think about it. So the brain is like a sponge.
That's a great analogy.
Sort of looks like one as well. Excuse me.
would be the water that the sponge absorbs. So in a regular night's sleep, or even like a 3-week sleep, like I witnessed, you're absorbing water. You're absorbing these frequencies, these energy, these sacred knowledges that flow through everything. And when you're in a coma or some other state, you're just your brain sponge is absorbing just so much information that, yes, sometimes you'll awaken and you are a library of knowledge. You are a wealth.
I'm loving the sort of spiritual aspects of sleep that you really hit upon. But talking more biological, what's happening to the brain when you're sleeping?
Really what it's doing is it's resting. It's taking a break from the busyness of our lives, and it's taking a time out. You know, it's coming to a full stop.
So the brain's kind of doing what we're doing.
I would say, like, in our society, you know, we don't sleep enough.
Exactly. I'm saying, I find myself saying this all the time.
So how many hours would you recommend? Let's pin it down to that.
They say 8 to 10, but what do you get?
Well, here's the thing, guys. It's relative. It is relative, and some bodies are small and they may not need as much time, and some bodies are really big and they might need more time than, you know, someone who's a little bit smaller.
Maggie, I have a question. So preparing for this interview with you, I actually started a new sleep schedule. Are you familiar with Leonardo da Vinci's sleep pattern of wakefulness for 4 hours, then a 20-minute nap, 24 hours?
Yeah, I know what that is.
I feel awful.
You know, to each their own, really, to each their own. And I think the best time to sleep is when you're tired.
Wow.
It seems
that
so
kind of does
simple.
it for me.
I mean, put it on the backboard. That's what we should be telling everyone. That's so simple.
Exactly. It's so simple that you almost don't even think about it. And this is something that I am constantly encouraging my students. You know, if they're waking up to come to my class and they're tired,
sleep in class?
No, stay home. Stay in bed even.
Don't even come.
I once had a student who slept through an entire semester worth of classes. And you know what? She got an A.
Wow. So
they're almost getting more of an education in bed. Exactly.
And, you know, either way, they would have a similar experience because almost 50% of my class, you are asleep. 100% of my class, you're learning.
So that way you're getting 100s, 2 100s,
yeah,
right? If you're in bed.
If you're in bed, you're learning. If you're in my class, you're learning.
So going back to, you know, the societal issues around sleep, where are some areas where you think we could do better? And, you know, what's causing us to not get enough sleep?
Really?
Well, something I am very passionate about, I've actually protested this many times, is caffeine consumption. We starve our minds of rest. And then to cope with it, we're just filling our bodies with drugs. Caffeine is a drug.
It's sort of a negative feedback loop.
It is. And there is no end to this cycle. And I'm constantly seeing people with big, dark circles under their eyes.
I've seen them.
And this is what breeds negativity in our culture, is this lack of sleep and this withering of our brain sponge.
That's why I'm actually not going to be having any caffeinated teas at my, you can believe that, at my tea place.
Really? No caffeination?
No. That wasn't the announcement, but I'm just going to stick that in. I don't want to overshadow you, Ryan. But moving on, something else that I was interested in with what you were bringing up is negativity. And I want to talk about nightmares because that's a really interesting concept. I think we can all agree about sleeping, and sometimes that'll happen to us. And is it a discouraging thing? Is it rather something exciting? I don't know. Can you answer that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I personally love nightmares. I feel like they are a great tool for learning and growing. Sometimes that negative charge in your mind is really just like a slingshot. So it'll pull you down and it'll feel really negative and bad, but that just means when it releases you, you'll soar. You'll fly even. So I think it's kind of a fuel.
So there's a dichotomy there. There's kind of a good with the bad.
As is life.
Yes. Sleep is sort of an analogy for life, really.
So true. So true.
So you're calling in now, but we can see your face because we're doing a sort of Skype call, but I see you have glasses on. Are those blue light repellent glasses?
They are. Good eye. Good eye.
Yeah, I have a pair of my own.
I was thinking about buying a pair.
I see significant differences, and I also have noticed a difference in the quality of sleep I'm getting after I stare at a screen. I'm up, sometimes grading papers or looking at my students' art, and I'm staring at a screen sometimes, and that can really take its toll on the cycles of your sleep.
Going back to the very first episode, the circadian rhythms, the internal clock that we have.
Absolutely.
I love clocks.
It gets messed up by the blue light because there's screens all around you. Your body's like, are these suns? Am I supposed to be awake?
Yeah. Phones will throw it off.
Yeah, I recently got rid of my phone.
Really?
I'm really glad
Something
to hear
I was
that.
thinking about doing as well.
Yeah.
Before we really wrap this up, I did come on here really hoping that maybe I could help you guys out by analyzing some dreams. If you have notable dreams
Yes, I've been
recently,
having the same one.
I'd love to give you some feedback.
Yeah, so like over email we were talking and you told me to start a dream journal, and I have a few entries that I wrote down. I'll go through this one.
I actually, I'm just remembering them. I don't really write them down, but.
Oh, you should. Right, Maggie?
You can decide for yourself, I would say, because some people have better memories.
Maggie, I'll begin my dream. So I was walking down the street, and right in front of me, out of nowhere, appeared a red cross, like the organization building.
Okay.
And inside, there was a table. And on the table was a microphone. And on another table adjacent was a lime.
Lime?
A lime.
Oh.
So I walked up to the table with the microphone first, and I picked it up. But then when it went in my hand, it disappeared, like disintegrated.
Wow.
But then I went over to the table with the lime, and the lime went into my skin, and my skin became green. And then I woke up.
Well, I think this is really a fascinating dream that you've laid out for us.
Thank you.
I think the microphone obviously may represent this platform, may represent your podcast.
I didn't even think about
your
that.
Voice, maybe, and the way that you communicate with others. And I think that kind of disappearing from your clutch is maybe kind of could represent a fear of that going away, or a fear that
It'll go away.
A fear that it could go away.
I don't think it'll go away, but.
Or a fear that maybe you won't get across what you want to verbally.
I feel like that happens almost every time. Like I have a lot more to say, but it doesn't fully get across.
Yeah, so there you go.
I think admitting your faults.
Yeah, I have so much to give, but I can't always reach that.
I think the Lyme quite obviously may represent, this disease that you're battling.
Wow.
It doesn't have to do with Lyme's though, right?
Now that I think of it, it's so in my face.
It's so in your face.
Obvious.
It's right there, and it's trying to tell you something, and that is what a dream is for. It is trying to teach you. It is a teachable moment for you.
That's very Freudian.
It is. Well, it is.
And my dream is actually really interesting and really hard for me to grasp. Basically, and this has been happening for the past, I don't know, few months, the same reoccurring dream, which I don't know how often people have those. I don't think that's that typical. Maybe it is. But my dream was basically I woke up. In the dream, I actually woke up, believe it or not, in my own bed, in my own room. So it was kind of a dream within a dream type of thing, which is super weird. And after that, I get up and I go to the door. I go to my bathroom and my apartment. I start brushing my teeth, and my teeth will actually fall out. They'll actually fall out of my mouth. It's super, and it's, it's unsettling kind of. And
kind of a basic dream motif.
Hmm?
Seems like kind of a basic dream motif.
Basic,
like the teeth.
Basically, it's really hard to understand. Yeah.
Wait. Are you
Maggie.
seeing that?
Wait, is she off? Is she's off screen? No, she's there. Maggie.
No, I think she's
Maggie,
actually. I think she's asleep.
Maggie.
Sai.
What?
She's asleep. She's
No.
asleep.
Maggie.
She's
Maggie, wake up, Maggie. Maggie.
So she's doing what she wants to do.
Maggie.
Maybe we'll get her. She's asleep, Sai.
Maggie. Maggie, interpret my dream, Maggie.
Sai, she's asleep.
Maybe I'll have her on another time.
Yeah, we can easily have her on.
You have her email?
Yeah.
She'll probably remember that.
Well, I actually think I lost it, but it's okay.
Well, but we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah. I think this is a good time to end the podcast anyway. I got a lot of great information.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of tired myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go to sleep right now.
I could go to sleep myself.
Talking about sleep so much.
I know, believe it or not. It's just kind of works like that. But I guess that's it.
Yeah.
What is this, 5 already? If you can believe it?
That is astounding.
Episode 5.
Well, I'm Dr. Ryan Keegan.
And I'm Sai Szynski.
Thanks for listening.